Most people believe that healing begins with effort, action, and constant improvement. We are taught to fix the body the same way we fix machines, by adding something, correcting something, forcing change from the outside. Yet there is a quieter truth hidden beneath centuries of noise. What if the deepest form of healing begins not when we do more, but when something inside us finally stops moving? Almost everyone has felt a rare moment of inner quiet without realizing its importance. It may have come late at night, when the world slowed and the mind briefly let go. It may have arrived after emotional exhaustion, when resistance collapsed and silence appeared on its own. In those moments, breathing softened, muscles loosened, and the body felt strangely safe. That feeling was not imagination. It was biology responding to stillness. What if those moments were not accidental breaks from stress, but glimpses into the body's natural repair state? What if inner silence is not emotional comfort, but a biological signal that allows the body to heal itself? This question changes everything, because it suggests that healing is not something missing from us. It suggests that healing is blocked by noise. The modern world keeps the nervous system permanently activated. Notifications, expectations, unresolved emotions, and constant mental pressure signal the body to remain alert. Neuroscience confirms that the body cannot distinguish between physical danger and psychological stress. To your biology, an email filled with pressure can feel no different from an approaching threat. The body stays prepared, tense, and defensive. When the nervous system remains in this state for too long, the body shifts into survival mode. Energy is redirected away from long-term repair and toward immediate protection. Inflammation rises, immunity weakens, sleep becomes shallow, and cellular regeneration slows. This is not failure, it is intelligent adaptation. The body believes danger has not passed. This is where Buddha's insight becomes startlingly biological. When he spoke of suffering, he did not define it as pain or sadness alone. He described suffering as restlessness, grasping, resistance, and constant inner movement. In modern terms, he was describing a nervous system that never fully powers down. Buddha taught that freedom comes through cessation, the quieting of unnecessary inner activity. He was not pointing toward emotional numbness or withdrawal from life. He was pointing toward a state where the mind no longer generates constant threat signals. When mental agitation slows, the body receives a powerful message: it is safe to rest. Modern neuroscience now mirrors this ancient observation. When the mind enters deep states of calm awareness, the parasympathetic nervous system becomes dominant. This state improves digestion, strengthens immunity, balances hormones, and activates cellular repair mechanisms. The body begins restoring instead of defending. Scientific studies show that sustained inner stillness changes gene expression. Genes linked to inflammation become less active, while genes related to repair and longevity become more active. Telomerase activity increases, slowing cellular aging. Cortisol levels drop. Heart rhythms stabilize, and the brain shifts into coherent, integrated functioning. These changes are measurable, not mystical. Yet most people struggle to access stillness because calm feels unfamiliar. When the nervous system has lived in tension for years, silence can feel uncomfortable or even unsafe. The mind fills quiet space with thoughts, worries, and planning because it has learned to associate movement with survival. This is not weakness, it is conditioning. Buddha understood this deeply. He never taught people to force the mind into silence. Instead, he taught observation without resistance. When thoughts are seen rather than fought, they lose their urgency. Awareness itself becomes regulating, gently guiding the nervous system out of threat mode. When the mind softens, the body follows naturally. Muscles release tension, breathing deepens, and internal rhythms begin to reorganize. This is not relaxation as entertainment. It is regulation at the deepest level. the body starts shifting resources back toward healing, growth, and repair. Think about the last time you felt deeply safe, not distracted or numbed, but genuinely at ease. Your shoulders dropped, your breath slowed, and your body felt grounded. In that moment, repair processes quietly activated beneath awareness. Stillness was doing what no effort could achieve. Buddha referred to this state as equanimity, a balanced presence that does not react compulsively. Neuroscience describes it as coherence, a state where brain, heart, and nervous system function in harmony. In coherence, the body becomes efficient, resilient, and regenerative. Healing does not begin with control, it begins with safety. Inner stillness tells the body that it no longer needs to defend itself from the present moment. When defense ends, repair begins naturally. As this journey continues, we will explore how emotional patterns become biological habits, how stress imprints itself into cells, and how stillness slowly reverses that imprint. But for now, understand this clearly. Inner silence is not emptiness. It is biological permission to heal. Long after an experience fades from conscious memory, the body continues to remember. This is one of the most unsettling truths modern neuroscience has uncovered. Stress does not end when an event ends. Emotion does not disappear when it is suppressed. The nervous system records experiences as patterns, and those patterns quietly shape biology long after the mind has moved on. Every unresolved emotion leaves a subtle imprint in the body, not as a story, but as a physiological tendency. Tightness in the chest becomes a habit. Shallow breathing becomes normal. Muscles remain guarded even when no threat is present. Over time, the body forgets what ease feels like, because tension has become familiar. Buddha observed this long before the language of neuroscience existed. He noticed that suffering persists not because pain happened once, but because the mind keeps reacting to its memory. Each reaction renews the signal of danger. Each resistance tells the body that the past is still happening. Modern research confirms that the brain does not clearly distinguish between a real event and a vividly remembered or emotionally charged one. When a stressful memory is replayed, the nervous system activates as if the threat is present now. Stress hormones release again. Muscles tighten again. Cellular processes shift back into defense mode. This is how stress becomes chronic, not through constant external danger, but through internal repetition. The body is not trapped in the present moment. It is trapped in unfinished emotional loops. And as long as those loops continue, healing remains secondary. The immune system, the digestive system, and even cellular repair mechanisms respond directly to these signals. When the nervous system perceives ongoing threat, the body postpones maintenance. Repair can wait. Survival cannot. This is not a flaw in design, it is intelligent prioritization. But what happens when the threat is no longer real, yet the signal continues? The body remains in survival mode without necessity. Inflammation becomes baseline. Fatigue becomes normal. Pain appears without clear cause. Aging accelerates not because time has passed, but because repair has been delayed. Buddha described this state as being bound by craving and aversion. Craving for what should be different, aversion toward what has already happened. Both keep the nervous system activated. Both prevent the body from settling into safety. Inner stillness interrupts this loop, not by erasing memory, but by changing the body's relationship with it. When awareness rests calmly on experience without resistance, the nervous system receives a new message. This moment is not dangerous. The past does not need to be relived. This is where something subtle but powerful occurs. The brain begins to update its prediction of reality. Neuroplasticity allows old stress pathways to weaken when they are no longer reinforced. The body slowly learns that it no longer needs to stay braced for impact. Scientific studies on mindfulness and deep meditative awareness show reduced activity in the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center. At the same time, regions involved in emotional regulation and integration become more active. This shift changes not only mood, but long-term biological patterns. The body begins releasing stored tension not through force, but through permission. Breathing deepens naturally. Muscles let go without being commanded. Heart rhythms stabilize. These are signs of regulation, not relaxation techniques working temporarily. Buddha emphasized observation because observation creates distance without suppression. When sensations are felt without judgment, they complete their cycle. Emotions that were frozen in the body begin to move and dissolve. The nervous system recalibrates itself in real time. This process can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable at first. As stored stress releases, sensations may intensify briefly. Tightness may surface before it dissolves. Emotions may arise without clear narrative. This is not regression, it is completion. The body does not heal by forgetting, it heals by finishing what was interrupted. Inner stillness creates the space where this completion can occur safely, without urgency, without force, without re-traumatization. From a biological perspective, this is profound. As stress patterns dissolve, inflammation markers decrease, immune function improves, hormonal balance begins to return. Even pain perception changes as the nervous system becomes less reactive. Buddha did not promise instant relief. He promised liberation through understanding, through seeing clearly how suffering perpetuates itself. And modern science now shows that understanding, when embodied, changes physiology. Stillness is not passive waiting, it is active integration. It allows the body to process what was once overwhelming. It restores communication between brain and body that stress had disrupted. Many people search for healing by analyzing their past endlessly. Others try to outrun it through distraction. Both approaches keep the nervous system activated. Stillness offers a third way. It neither suppresses nor indulges. It allows. As awareness deepens, the body begins to trust the present moment. Trust is not a belief, it is a physiological state. When trust emerges, the body exits survival mode gradually and sustainably. This is when cellular repair accelerates, not because of effort, but because conditions are finally right. Just as a wound heals best when left undisturbed, the nervous system heals when it is no longer constantly provoked. Buddha understood that peace is not created, it is uncovered. Beneath layers of tension, habit, and reaction, the body already knows how to return to balance. Inner stillness removes the interference. As we move forward, we will explore how this biological shift affects aging, energy levels, and long-term health. We will see how stillness reshapes not only stress response, but cellular longevity itself. For now, let this settle. Your body is not broken. It has been protecting you for a long time. When protection is no longer needed, healing becomes inevitable. Aging is often spoken about as an unstoppable march of time, but biology tells a more nuanced story. Cells do not age simply because years pass. They age because repair fails to keep pace with damage. When regeneration slows, wear accumulates, and time begins to show itself in the body. Modern science has discovered that stress accelerates this imbalance. Chronic nervous system activation shortens telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of DNA strands. As telomeres shorten, cells lose their ability to divide and repair efficiently. Aging, at its core, is a story of prolonged threat. What is rarely discussed is that stillness appears to slow this process. Studies show that sustained meditative states increase telomerase activity, the enzyme responsible for maintaining telomere length. This suggests that the body repairs itself more effectively when the nervous system rests in safety. Buddha did not speak of telomeres, but he spoke endlessly of time, not clock time but psychological time. He observed that the mind ages itself through constant reference to past and future. Regret pulls the nervous system backward. Anxiety pushes it forward. Both remove the body from the stabilizing safety of now. From a neurological perspective, the present moment is where regulation happens. When attention settles into immediate sensory experience, the brain reduces predictive threat scanning. The nervous system exits urgency. Hormonal rhythms begin to stabilize. Repair mechanisms quietly re-engage. This explains why deep stillness often feels timeless. Moments stretch, urgency dissolves, the body stops bracing for what comes next. In this state, biological aging slows because the conditions that accelerate it are no longer present. Epigenetics adds another layer to this understanding. Genes do not function in isolation. They respond to environment, perception, and internal chemistry. Stress turns certain genes on. Safety turns others on. Stillness changes the biological environment inside the body. When inner agitation decreases, gene expression shifts toward maintenance and longevity. Inflammation-related genes quiet down. Genes linked to cellular protection and metabolic balance become more active. The body begins acting like an organism that expects to survive, not one preparing for constant threat. Buddha described aging as suffering not because the body changes, but because the mind resists change. Resistance keeps the nervous system tense. Acceptance allows adaptation. From a biological view, acceptance reduces unnecessary stress responses that accelerate degeneration. Stillness trains the nervous system to remain stable, even as sensations change. Pain may arise, but panic does not. Discomfort may appear, but resistance does not multiply it. This reduces secondary stress, which is often more damaging than the original stimulus. Over time, this changes how the body experiences effort. Movements become more efficient. Energy is conserved rather than wasted on tension. Sleep deepens. Recovery improves. These are not spiritual side effects. They are physiological outcomes of regulation. Research on long-term meditators shows slower biological aging markers compared to non-meditators of the same chronological age. Their nervous systems show greater resilience, faster recovery from stress, and more stable baseline functioning. Stillness has reshaped their internal time. Buddha referred to this as freedom from becoming, a state where the mind is no longer constantly pushing toward the next moment. When becoming slows, the body stops racing against time. It begins to live within it instead. This does not mean the body becomes immortal. It means it becomes efficient. It ages with grace rather than resistance. Damage occurs, but repair keeps pace. The system remains balanced longer. Stillness also changes how the brain perceives pain and discomfort associated with aging. Neural circuits involved in suffering become less reactive. Sensations are felt clearly, but without added fear. This reduces chronic stress load and preserves biological resources. What many people call aging is actually cumulative stress exposure. Inner stillness interrupts that accumulation. Each moment of regulation prevents unnecessary damage. Over years, this creates measurable difference. Buddha's teachings were never about escaping the body. They were about inhabiting it fully without tension. When the body is inhabited with ease, it functions optimally. When it is inhabited with resistance, it deteriorates faster. Stillness teaches the nervous system that it does not need to rush. When urgency dissolves, biological time stretches. Cells repair more thoroughly. Systems recover more completely. As we approach the final part of this journey, the question shifts from understanding to living. How does one bring this stillness into daily life without turning it into another task? How does one allow repair while still participating fully in the world? That answer lies not in technique, but in orientation. in how the mind meets each moment, in how often the body is allowed to feel safe. And that is where this journey completes itself. As this journey reaches its quiet conclusion, one truth begins to settle naturally. Healing was never something you needed to create. It was something that became inaccessible when the mind forgot how to be still. Beneath layers of urgency, tension, and constant mental noise, the body has always known how to return to balance. Buddha never asked people to escape the world or retreat from life. He asked them to stop fighting their own experience. In doing so, he revealed a state where awareness becomes gentle, spacious, and deeply regulating. When resistance ends, the nervous system no longer signals danger, and the body is finally allowed to repair what stress interrupted. Modern life teaches us to remain alert even in safety. We carry tomorrow's worries into today and yesterday's wounds into the present. This keeps the nervous system activated long after the threat has passed. Stillness interrupts this cycle, not by controlling thoughts, but by changing our relationship with them. When inner stillness becomes familiar, daily life begins to change subtly. Reactions slow, breathing deepens without effort. The body responds to challenges without collapsing into chronic tension. Stress still appears, but it no longer defines the baseline state of the nervous system. This is where healing becomes continuous rather than episodic. Instead of needing recovery after breakdown, the body maintains itself through regulation. Repair happens quietly in the background as a natural consequence of safety. Cells function with efficiency. Systems communicate clearly. Energy is no longer wasted on unnecessary defense. Buddha described this as living without clinging. Neuroscience describes it as nervous system flexibility. Both point to the same truth. When the body can move in and out of stress without getting stuck, health becomes resilient rather than fragile. Stillness does not require isolation or silence on the outside. It can exist while walking, speaking, working, and loving. It is an internal orientation rather than a posture, a way of meeting experience without tightening against it. This orientation reshapes how the body processes emotion. Feelings arise, are felt fully, and pass without being stored. The nervous system completes its cycles instead of freezing mid-response. Over time, emotional weight lifts, not because it was forced away, but because it was finally allowed to move through. From a biological view, this is liberation. Stress hormones no longer flood the system unnecessarily. Inflammation reduces, sleep deepens. Healing accelerates because the body is no longer preparing for imagined danger. Many people search for healing as a future achievement. Buddha pointed to healing as a present condition. When the mind rests here, the body responds now, not tomorrow, not after perfection, in this moment. The simplicity of this truth is often overlooked because it does not promise instant transformation. It offers something quieter and more profound. A way of living where health is not chased, but supported continuously through inner balance. As you reflect on your own life, notice how often the body is asked to remain tense. Notice how rarely it is allowed to feel completely safe. Stillness begins when you stop demanding answers from the moment and start listening instead. This listening changes everything. The body feels seen rather than managed. The mind feels guided rather than controlled. Life feels inhabited rather than survived. Buddha's forgotten biology was never hidden in complexity. It was hidden in simplicity, in silence, in the space between reactions. In the moment, the mind stops pushing and the body begins trusting again. If this journey resonated with you, let it continue gently. Not as a goal, but as an invitation to live with awareness, regulation, and compassion toward your own biology. For more deep, grounded explorations of spiritual wisdom, neuroscience, and conscious living, you are warmly invited to subscribe to Divine and Spiritual 0369. This space exists to guide, not rush. and to explore healing as a lived experience rather than a distant promise. Take this understanding with you, quietly. Let it soften the way you breathe, the way you move, and the way you meet your own life. Healing begins there,